I have a question as well. There's some native stories, especially among the northeastern tribes, the Mohawk, the Huron. They're called the Iroquois people, and they have a story of a man who came. They called him the lawgiver, the peacemaker, or the law. I can't remember now off the top of my head. But he came and he taught the tribes the laws of living. And some of the people from this tribe believe that it was Yeshua who came, and they use the New Testament verse where he says, for he goes to the lost sheep, that he's going to go for the lost sheep. And you had mentioned in our earlier conversation that the lost sheep were the 10 tribes that had been taken into captivity. So I'm trying to draw a correlation of Yeshua saying that he must go to speak to the lost sheep, that he came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The lost sheep are the 10 tribes who were dispersed. And if there are stories in the Americas of this figure, this Mashiach type figure who came and brought the great law of peace, which law is also Torah, right? So the great law of peace to the people. Is it possible is that even possible? Is it possible that Yeshua would have come to some of the native tribes?
Who knows?
Who knows, right? Because if some of the tribes are connected to the 10, then there is that possibility. We also do. There are many tribes that have traditions and customs, songs, and even the name of the Creator, as it's been passed down among our people, not taught to us by Christian missionaries. The stories that we have that match the biblical stories, not taught to us by Christian missionaries, but passed down in our oral tradition.
Older than the missionaries.
Yes, much before the missionaries. Then there seems to be a lot of evidence that points to there being a connection with some of our tribes with the house of Israel. I listened to, there was a Cherokee man, he's Kitua, which is the traditionalists, Ani Kitua, and I have a video of this as well, and he's explaining to a man the history of their people, and he's showing a wampum belt because the history is recorded with these belts, and he's pointing to this belt, and he says to the interviewer, "We are of the house of Israel." He says this.
He says Ephraim.
Yeah, and he doesn't say Ephraim in the video. That was the elders that spoke to us.
Oh.
In the video, he says we're of the house of Israel. And these are traditional Cherokees. They're not trying to be Jewish. They're not trying to become nothing like this.
They have no interest
They have no interest in Judaism, but this is just a matter of fact history to them. But it's not being explored much. In the United States, the academics reject any idea that there may have been Israelites or Hebrews here. Over there in Turtle Island, America. But yet, there are some rabbis here in Israel who believe that some of the tribes, are connected to Israel. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that it is, according to what you told me before, the name of God with the right point, that nobody know it, what is completely secret, and completely secret. It is written in a place that nobody know where it is.
But yet, they know how to pronounce it.
And you know how to pronounce it exactly, almost exactly. I don't know, maybe it's right the way you do it, who knows? Maybe the way you know it's even more right, or the way it is written in the books of Ariel. But you know it's completely not the way all the Christian said it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a name that we don't supposed to say, of course. Mm-hmm. The name of Yudke Vavke we're not supposed to say in any point. There are different points for this name, for different intentions, for different sphere, different concepts in Kabbalah, right? In this place we put this point, in another place we put different point, etc. But the main way of putting the point, and it's really secret, you told me, all right? So this is something that
You know what?
It's more of a proof, you know. It's something that.
And I think saying that it's more of a proof is, you know, we could talk about traditions, we could talk about customs, we could talk about spirituality, but being that the tribes retain the name of the Creator, and then like you said,
and in our way, it's a great honor to speak His name. Like, not the honor is not to me, the honor is to the Creator, because in our way, if we didn't honor Him with our songs by singing His name, then we would forget, and we wouldn't carry it on to our children to teach them. And then one day, like many Christian people, when they don't know His name or speak His name, then they get confused, and people come and tell them that the God of Islam is the same as their God, and that's not true. And so when we carry the name down in the tradition of our people, it's a way to try to keep it pure, try to keep it honorable to
You know, everything that a person do it with tmimut, with simplicity, with sincerity from his heart, it's all right with God. All right. So if somebody do something with how you say gava, pride, he think he know everything and he want to show the Jewish what have to be done. It's bad. It's not good. But everything that somebody, even it is wrong, you know, it's like a kids. Sometimes you will see a very small kids standing on the book of Torah. So, God love it. Alright? Alright, so this is something basically, everything that came from naivety, from simplicity.
Authentic. What is authentic? From the heart.
from a good heart.
Nobody will judge you for this, alright? So
we were the first trip that we came to Israel. We were sharing this with a man who's a scholar, you know, and you know, he's a very scholarly man, and we were sharing some of our traditions and sharing some of the names of the Creator. And when we said the name of the Creator, I said it in the Cherokee, the way that the Cherokee people pronounce it. He was very calm the whole time, but when I said that name, he threw his hands up. He said, "Don't say that name. Who taught you how to say that name? Only the Cohen Hagadol can say that name on Yom Kippur. Yeah. Who taught you that name?"
Exactly.
And I said, I apologized, you know, I said we didn't mean to upset him, but I said, this is what's been passed down for generations.
Okay.
This is what we've always called him. And he said, that name, only one person can say it. Yeah.
The name, and then everybody fall on the ground, you know.
And many of our songs start with the name.
Mm-hmm.
That's the calling to Creator, mm-hmm. to come and be with us, our cry to Him.
Yes, and this we have like, for example, in the southeastern tribes, there's called stomp dance, and in the stomp dance, it's a dance that's both the men and the women. And there's a sacred fire, and we always come in to the left, just like the Cohen would come in from the left in the temple. That's something we learned last time we were here. But the songs begin by calling Creator's name. You know, because in our culture we cannot separate Creator from who we are, and in our life and our spirituality, everything revolves around the Creator.
And at the ceremony, he's talking about when you go into you're near the sacred fire, and there are arbors that are put up.
It looks like sukkahs.
4 arbors, one on each side, and they have the 4 poles and a thatched roof over the top that's flat.
Mm-hmm.
Usually flat, not always flat. Sometimes it's shaped like that. But we dance all night and sing the old songs.
And his name
Looks like Sukkot.
Yes, if I showed you a picture of the arbor, you'd say that's a sukkah. You know, and speaking of Sukkot, we have there's a vegetable that's found in the Americas called succotash, and it's written Succotash, and it's harvested during the 7-day harvest festival, which is also it's 7 days where everybody comes together, all the tribes, all the clans come together, and there's dancing, singing, a big feast, big celebration, and you're praying for rain, so that the rain will come for the next season. You know, and that's the culmination of the 7 festivals that traditionally many tribes used to observe, but then the missionaries came and made many of the tribes stop observing these things. Some of the other traditions, we didn't mention this before, we have a new moon gathering and also full moon. You know, so the tribe would gather on the new moon because that's how we would count the months. And it was a way of giving the Creator the first of your time. And they would gather, and then it was a big ceremony behind that.
One of the ceremonies that we were talking to you about was called green corn ceremony. And it's called green corn because you bring it when the corn is still very fresh, the first fruits. So the first of the corn we would offer to Creator.
Yeah, there's some tribes that literally still the name of the festival is First Fruits Festival, or the Feast of First Fruits. The Anishinaabe in the Great Lakes tribes, they have still, it's called the Feast of First Fruits. You know, so and they also have the prophecy of the 7 fires, the 7 fires prophecy, and I showed you the picture carved in stone of the symbol of the 7 fires prophecy. And when I showed you, what did you say? You said, that's a menorah. It's a menorah. It has 7 stands and it had the 3 on the pedestal. You know, there used to be a mound. We're talking about the mounds.
Earth
mounds, you know, made of earth. And there used to be one that is called, we didn't call it this, but it was called the Hanukkah mound. Because it was like a giant Hanukkah made of earth. I mean, gigantic. This is verified by the president. He sent geologists to go and map it out. And then it was destroyed. They flattened it. So there's so many evidences on one reservation. We haven't shared this with you yet. There's a stone, a large boulder. It's called the Las Lunas stone on the Pueblo Indian Reservation. And written in Paleo-Hebrew are the 10 Commandments. In Paleo-Hebrew. You know, and of course there's the academics try to discredit this. No, it's impossible. There was no Israelites here. There was no Hebrews. But we read about Shlomo receiving tribute from the kings of the earth. The ships from Tarshish. Yes, from the 4 corners. And there's drawings. There's cave drawings of Phoenician ships. Native American cave drawings. And then, of course, the artifacts that are found in mounds. There was one instance in South Georgia. In the Okefenokee Swamp, there was a burial mound, and when the farmers dug the burial mound up, they found 2 skeletons, and one was a chief, and the other one had tefillin in this burial mound, buried next to the chief. So he must have been an advisor. But it was tefillin. I mean, there was no getting around it.
He would have been considered a holy man, or like some people say medicine man, but it's a little bit different. Holy man is the one who does the prayers and the ceremonies. We
were on another reservation, the Cheyenne tribe. The Cheyenne are known as the horse lords of the plains. Well, in their language, and I can show you the welcome sign to the reservation. Cheyenne is a name that's been given to them. You know, a lot of the names of the tribes, either the English couldn't pronounce the name or the French could not pronounce the name. But the Cheyenne call themselves Tzitzitza, and it means people of the fringes.
Over there?
Of the fringes.
Fringe.
Like Tzitzi.
Tzitzit.
Yeah. So the more I researched, the more I studied, those pictures I just showed you of the menorah and the seven fires prophecy, this was just maybe 2 weeks ago that I was able to find those. So more and more evidence is coming up. And my question to you would be, as this evidence surfaces, as more Native Americans from the tribes who beyond coincidence, because we don't believe in coincidence, where we find Hebrew words in our language, where we find traditions and customs, even the names of the Creator, as this awakening is taking place, and Native people are starting to look back to Israel and saying, is this our ancient homeland? Is this where we came from? How does that fit in with Zechariah, where it says that Creator will whistle and gather the four nations? How do the Native American people fit into the picture of the future of Israel, in your opinion?
Well, like I said, it is a direction today from Christians all over the world that they reveal that really Jesus was Jew and really the root is Jew. And who have a Hebrew soul, he feels this. Other ones that have are less connected in the soul to the Judaism, they are instead
Anti-Semitic, yes.
Alright, so of course, behind any good Christian, hiding a holy spark that want to come back to his root, to Am Israel. Alright, so now we are very close to the coming of Mashiach. So it is a big awakening in the world of people that they are in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in the middle, they start to follow the commandment, even they are not ordered to follow it, they want to do it.
I see where he says sometimes one Torah for the Jews and for the Gentiles among you.
That's Exodus 12:49.
Where
No, for the Gerim, for somebody that become a Jew.
yes.
The moment he become a Jew, you call it the Ger Tzedek. There are two kinds of Gerim. Ger, it's somebody that originally is not Jew, but is allowed to live in Eretz Israel. If he's not Ger, that is a Ger Toshav, a Ger that follow only 7 commandments of Noach. So Toshav, it means that he can live in Eretz Israel. He follows the 7 commandments of Noach. Today, it's not exist. It means Am Israel today don't have the power to make you half Jew. He can teach you to follow the 7 commandments, but he will not say usually that you are a Ger Toshav, because today, according to a Rambam, the way he wrote his halachot, if Am Israel don't perform the commandment of the Yuvel, if we don't perform the Yuvel every 50 years, before we perform the Yuvel, is not an existence of Ger Toshav. It means because we are not enough strong, or you are not Jew, or you are 100% Jew. We don't have something in the middle. To have something in the middle, we have to be more strong. All right? So right now, formally it's not exist, but it is a Ger Toshav that follows 7 commandments. It is a Ger Tzedek that receives all the 600 commandments. So it's like a Jew, except small detail. He cannot marry with a Cohen. There are some detail, but basically what it is written is that you will have the same commandment for the Ger. We talk about the Ger Tzedek. Ger Tzedek, it means that he received all the 613 commandments.
And that's very different than a Goyim, who's completely different than a Ger. Yes?
Yeah, the Goyim, must to follow according to the Torah, they have to follow the 7 commandments of Noah, and this is what Paulus teaches them to do. Also have to thank Paulus that he teaches them the 7 commandments of Noah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I've always wondered, because I see one place where he says, oh, you just have to do these 4 things.
Yeah.
And we said, where did this come from? I never saw this anywhere. I didn't know what that was from. So it's related to Noah.
It's yes.
The
Exactly,
Noah covenant.
This is what it is them to follow the 7.
The Noahide laws.
So you don't have to tell them you don't have to kill and you don't have to sleep with your sister. You don't have to tell them, or you don't have to do idolatry. But besides these 3 things, you have 4 other things that is what it teaches them to do.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense.
I wondered where that came from.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Good.